In today's video, I have been out in the car to revisit an old industrial estate that I used to deliver to in a HGV. It was absolutely crazy. Let's discuss it. One the trucker's eye! So, if you haven't already worked it out, the industrial estate with the crazy access is in Sheffield, in South Yorkshire. More on that in a few moments. Sheffield sits on the edge of the Peak District National Park. Whenever I visit Sheffield, and if I have time, I always like to go to see the Lady Bower Reservoir. This is a great tourist attraction and a lovely beauty spot, especially in the summer. Sheffield is most famously known as the Steel City. Its unique geography provided excellent steel making conditions, its hills providing coal and iron along with other raw materials, the Severn Rivers with water power, and the forests, wood and charcoal. The Made in Sheffield mark is registered with the UK Patent Office. It is renowned worldwide. Sheffield is also no stranger to producing music acts. Amongst them are the Arctic Monkeys, the Human League, and arguably the biggest of them all, Def Leppard. There are so many other bands from Sheffield that we haven't mentioned, including Pulp, and who can forget that magical moment in 1996 when at the Brit Awards Michael Jackson was playing and Jarvis Cocker, the lead singer for Pulp, got up on stage.
This is what Jarvis did. Here he is. This is actual footage from the front row. And now, watch this. That's one of Jackson's dancers.
At the time, this act of petulant brilliance from Cocker left him in hot water with Michael Jackson's legal team. Eventually, charges were dropped and everyone moved on. Sheffield is also famous for its football clubs. Sheffield Wednesday was founded in 1867 and Sheffield United was founded in 1889. Sporting wise, Sheffield is probably best known for hosting the World Snooker Championships. Who can forget that late night black ball finish between Dennis Taylor and Steve Davis in 1985.
The final frame, the final black. He's done it.
As for landmarks, Sheffield has them in abundance. Two of its most famous landmarks, they actually blew up. After standing for 70 years, cooling towers 6 and 7 at Blackburn Meadows power station had been destroyed. In the foreground on the photograph you can see the Tinsley viaduct. This carries both the A631 and the M1 across the Don Valley. In 1965, work started building the Tinsley viaduct. This was completed in 1968. Ironically, the building of the Tinsley viaduct gave the two cooling towers a stay of execution. Blackburn Meadows power station was coal-fired and was closed down in 1980 and demolished. However, the two towers were deemed far too close to the motorway, and there was a worry that if they were demolished, they could damage the Tinsley viaduct. They were left standing for another 28 years abandoned. These days, Blackburn Meadows is a biomass plant. It uses recycled waste wood sourced from wind in the UK to generate power for up to 69,000 homes and businesses in the South Yorkshire region. But just where is this crazy industrial estate? Well, it's just off the A61 on the north side of Sheffield, not far from Hillsborough Stadium. And here we are, heading up Fox Hill Road. Now remember, today we are in the car, but back about 10-15 years ago, this was done in a truck, and many other truck drivers will have done the same route as well. Now I know a lot of you are sitting there thinking, this doesn't look too bad. As you can see, we keep on climbing up this hill, and very shortly indeed, we're going to be taking a left turn. And I bet the residents used to love HGVs coming up this hill. It didn't matter what time of the day it was. As we turned left, there would always be cars parked on the right opposite the turning. And yep, it's nice to see that some things never change. After all, they probably do live there. And very shortly, we will start to descend towards the industrial estate. What I do need you to keep your eye on is the signage on the left-hand side. What this sign tells us is that in less than 500 yards, we have an extremely low bridge of 9'3" high. But let us just hold our progress for just a moment. Now, as you can see from this signage, the road ahead is unsuitable for HGVs. An unsuitable for HGV sign doesn't actually mean that HGVs cannot use this road. But if we look to the left of this sign, you will also see the sign pointing us left in the direction of the industrial estate. So at least we know the industrial estate is down here. But remember, we're in a HGV, and look at this car coming down the hill. We'd be taking the bend as wide as we could in the truck, but the trailer, at 45 foot long, would cut straight across that 35 to 40% decline. But reading your mind once again, I know you're all thinking, there's got to be another way into this industrial estate, surely. Well, there is, if you come underneath the 9'3" bridge. So let's continue our journey down into the industrial estate. I know exactly what you guys are thinking right now. Just like I did the first time I ever came to this industrial estate, this cannot surely be the only way in for a truck. But it is, and that's because of that bridge. Let's come at it from the other direction. Yep, we're not getting under there in the truck. As you can see from the footage in my car, not much of the industrial estate is taken up these days. But does anybody know what this industrial estate was actually used for in times gone by? Information seems a bit sparse on the internet, so pop it down in the comments section below. But once you've done your delivery and found out that there's only one way in and one way out, you have a big problem. How do you get a 45-foot trailer around that bend and up that steep hill? I'm sure some of you will have already worked it out, but some of you may not have. And while you ponder that, let's look at Google Maps. As you can see, we can move through different years, and you can see quite clearly that many people have struggled to get out of here. Just before I simulate how I used to leave this industrial estate in the truck, remember, I'm doing this in the car this time, could I please ask you, if you have enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up, and also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Thanks for watching. Let's show you how we got out of this industrial estate. See you next time on The Trucker's Eye.